Hi, OGR teacher here, and today we're going to talk about stippling, which is literally dots. The closer the dots are together, the darker the situation will look. I've drawn a little light source here to show you that the closer to the light source, the brighter it should be. You have less dots, more dots, more dots, more dots, until you have the most dots to get your darker situation. Um, Stippling can be a materials ruiner. So I did this with pen and it's really annoying to do, so I rushed through it, which is why it looks like such trash. Um, but I'm going to show you a little slower how to do nice stippling with a marker. Okay, so I'm going to use a blue highlighter and I'm going to be gentle with it so I don't totally destroy it. I'm going to draw a value scale with this purple pen that I like and divide that out into however many squares or rectangles I want. And light source can go on either side as long as you remember that it is brightest closest to. So with stippling, you're going to be doing dots. Little dots. If you're using a pencil, it's probably going to sound like it is raining in the house or wherever you're doing your drawing, because sometimes it can take a lot of pressure to get the material on the paper. And by material, I mean the lead or the marker juice or the paint or the crayon or whatever. This is another one that you can use any type of material for, but it is easiest using markers. And as long as you don't press down too hard with the marker, you can preserve the tip of the marker. But a lot of people have a lot of trouble with pressure. With markers, you really don't need to use pressure at all because it's going to put out the same amount of ink. To make stuff darker with a marker, you start out with a layer and then you go on top with more layers. That's how you do shading with a marker. But for stippling, you put the dots further and further apart from each other until there are no dots at all. And then I always go back into my value scale, the darker parts, and add a little bit more so that it looks a little bit darker and different, which can be hard to achieve. And since this is a quick lesson, I am not going to spend as much time as I would if I were trying to do my own practice. If I were doing my own practice, I would do this slowly and methodically, and I would do it a bunch of times. So anyway, there's value scale for stipple. Now to draw a circle. Again, if you are struggling with circles, do your circle practice. Draw as many as you want. Color in between if you want. Add some designs. Make them look special and different. I don't really have time for that, so I'm not making it beautiful like I could if I spent, 15 minutes doing that. Our light source is going to come from above this time, so our highlight will be right here. So that means that at the bottom, we're going to have the most concentration of the dots. I like to go in and put a base of dots where I know I'm going to put some value, and then go in to the darker area and try to get it as dark as possible. This is me trying to go as fast as possible in order to not spend way too much time doing a demo. I would suggest not going as fast because you will have more control over your materials, and most art teachers can tell if you've spent 5 minutes on something, 10 minutes on something, 20 minutes on something, or 30 seconds on something. So If you were in my classroom, you would get graded based on how much effort you put into it, and I count time as effort. I do not count perfection as, well, I mean, perfection can be effort. Anyway, as you can see, the further away from the light, the more I'm attempting to put darker or more concentrated dots to make it look like it is darker at the bottom. This is a difficult technique, but can be done. The shadow would go directly below the sphere, since the light is directly above at noon o'clock, if you wanted to use the sun as an example. And I'm going to go ahead and be done, even though I could probably do a lot more work to make this look a lot more beautiful. But that is stippling, it is dots, and that's enough of that.